Hello, folks. I hope you are having a great weekend. I have been receiving a handful of questions, mostly pertaining to MindTap, which I think I alluded to in maybe the opening video that is not completely optimal as a platform, but gets the job done, I suppose. But what I wanted to do here, just very quickly, because of kind of the content of the questions I've been getting are relatively consistent. So I just wanted to kind of give you a real fast point a few things out in a way. Hopefully, this is going to make it a little bit easier, potentially, to navigate and whatnot. So, one thing I'm unsure of, I've never actually seen the interface from your side, so I assume my page is very similar, possibly a little bit different. I'm going to turn all my editing off here, though, because we don't need that. And I guess real quick, the things I wanted to show you, at least in reference to the questions and that, partially this was to do with those comprehension checks that I had made mention of. And here I can begin to show you why this is not the most optimal platform. But hopefully you're seeing my screen all right here, and I'm just going to go ahead and click on chapter 1. So it kind of divvies it up on this initial piece. I'm sure you've seen here. Look, read it. Here's, you can learn, blah, blah, blah. Here's apply it, which one would assume apply it means this is where the assignments would be. Take what you've learned and display it. And yes and no. So there are a few things down here. I had made mention of things like lab quizzes, things like that. This one you can see I had updated before I got the course posted to make sure that it was clear that it was practice, not counting towards the grade. Down here you see counts towards grade. This is that they now call it a quiz. They used to call it the chapter test, but this is the 10-point quiz that you have one at the end of every chapter. Now, maybe it's intuitive to some of you. It certainly is not to me. Here, according to our Read It tab, all of these things are down and displayed. So great, look, here are these things available to you. One way I can show you the comprehension checks is simply to click on that tab, and voila. For some reason, it goes from the default of laying those things out to, oh, hey, here are the modules for the chapter, and look at that. Within each module, here's these activities. Those are the 2 comprehension checks that you will find in chapter 1. I'm sure almost all of you probably already have found if you've gotten rolling in some of that. But again, where I say this is not profoundly intuitive. And so as you get kind of into the chapters, we can go to the synapses chapter and blow that up. Look, there's a couple more of those down in there. But also, if I just go into reading it, the introduction is kind of a separate entity. You've surely seen that it'll not plug you right into the rest of the chapter. But if I get into the module, start flipping through the book here, looking at the content, you will also find, as we get through various action potentials and these kinds of things, here's a boatload of information and reflex arcs and these kinds of things. This is a stop and check, not a comprehension check. So that one is a completely just a tool for preparation and whatever else. This one, now you see, we finally get to the end of kind of this section, excitatory, inhibitory, action potentials, these kinds of things, and voila, comprehension check. So this is another way that you can get to these comprehension checks. And here's a whole bunch of explanation, all of this kind of thing. When you get into taking these, let's just do one for the hell of it here. Regarding a synapse, the blank neuron delivers the transmission and the blank receives it. Well, great. That's the presynaptic and postsynaptic neurons. Now, I click on that. Okay, this is a comprehension check. It's not a stressful assignment. This isn't an exam. You're not being timed. And in fact, hopefully you've seen like, oh, I can just check my work. I haven't even submitted anything. And it will show you how you've done. Another thing that you can do if you don't want the feedback, or I'm sorry, to check your work and get that feedback, you certainly don't need to. but they also don't make it super obvious. Thankfully, I mean, they used to have other options up here. You can save your work, because apparently some of us get exhausted through 3 multiple choice questions. Got to set up base camp, come back to it the next day. Otherwise, you can go through these things and submit for grading. But if we do that now, we've only done one of the 3 questions. So we got to come down and find this little tiny arrow the size of a gnat and keep going through. Great, talk about Sherrington, we could check that, go on to the 3rd question, etc. And then as you get through all these, then you could submit, and it'll even say, you sure about that? And you can continue taking it, or nope, I want to submit it, get my grade. Great. That's how that ends up getting plugged into the grade book, at least the grade book here in MindTap. And so, as I say, it's not it's not optimal, but as you kind of click through here, like I say, if you click on the read it thing, this will bring those comprehension checks up where you can click through directly to them instead of having to scroll through the book in that way. But of course, if you are scrolling through the book, then they just organically present themselves to you. I guess since I have you here, I was going to mention one other thing. Let's just jump ahead and go to the vision chapter arbitrarily. This is confusing and I'm going to get it fixed, so hopefully it won't be there for very long. But as you look at chapter 5, for instance, and you're thinking, he was so emphatic as he described the comprehension checks and the chapter quizzes as being the only graded thing. And now I come down here, mastery training counts towards grade, video quiz counts towards grade. No, they don't. I need to get those adjusted. The quick and dirty of that story is simply that I had to wrap up one term, get another term up and going in the midst of a whole slew of other things. And so I think I did maybe the first 2 chapters to make sure, at least in the initial, days, week, whatever of the course, that these things would hopefully be a little more clear and less confusing for you all. And so what I need to do now is to follow through and get the rest of those done so that at the very least, what you read is consistent with what I said. Okay, I hope this is helpful to whatever degree. And as always, of course, I mean, if anything else is not clear, or if this managed to be more confusing, which is a superpower of mine, or of course, any question about anything else with the course, with the material, with whatever, please just let me know, because that's what I'm here for. So I hope you have a really great weekend. I hope you're finding some time to relax and enjoy the summer, and we shall be in touch. All right, take care, folks.